Welcome to Bloomburrow Arena Gauntlet League Top 8 Mega Draft. I'm here with Mitch tonight. How's it going?
Spaghetti, spaghetti Mitch.
Spaghetti Mitch, yes, of course.
And
And we are
then,
following Zev here for our Mega Draft, who is, I believe, in his second league and first top 8. And we're drafting Bloomburrow and the a few other sets that we visited during Bloomburrow League. We'll get to those packs throughout the draft. What do we like here from this pack?
we have to remember we're not doing Bloomburrow, although as
Exactly.
far as we've gone this far, it looks exactly like a Bloomburrow draft. A rare is a land?
Yeah.
There's only one.
Yeah, so I mean, this is unlike normal Bloomberg draft where you can take a card that says play rabbits and pick up a bunch of rabbits. I mean, there is going to be actually a second pack of Bloomburrow at the very end, but I think you need to find cards that are a bit more general, right? Cards that don't depend on having a specific creature type. Because I mean, maybe they might be scattered throughout the other sets, but it won't reliably come together. And Flamecash Gecko fits that description of a card that will
I
be
think
good
uh,
no matter what.
I think he was opting to almost take out the trash, which is the same mana cost exactly as it happens.
Yeah, I like taking the two drop here, especially one that has utility late game. Like this is just the kind of two drop that I really like to have in these mega drafts where we're playing 60 cards, the mana bases aren't great. Sometimes the curves can be a bit wonky. You have a two drop that can get in on turn two, but can also help you late game. Um,
Here, there's the rare still. Oh, there might have been more than one rare open, of course,
yeah,
but Iridescent Vine Slasher. I think every deck
yeah.
plays lands, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Land card, yeah, I think so. Yeah, the Vine Lasher are quite good. The Intrepid Rabbit maybe would be the competition as far as strength goes. Yeah, as far as individual cards, the High Spine Wolverine also quite good, but he goes for the Vine Lasher here. I mean, two lizards, but I don't think there'll be too many cards that care about lizards. But maybe I spoke too soon with the Scales of Shale
yeah, you're not going to get too many lizards
here.
outside of this set. I will remind people what we're drafting, I guess, because it
Yep.
could inform what's going on. BLB, OTJ, then Caverns of Ixalan, then Wilds of Eldraine, then regular Eldraine, and then finally another BLB. So there are two BLBs. That is something to keep in mind.
Yeah. So again, these are all the sets that we visited with our boons during the league. So they're all reconvened here for this mega draft. Um, so I mean, if he wants to stay with what he's drafted so far, he could take Scales of Show. Sticky Tongue Sentinel, I feel like, is a card that will work with cards from any set. Like every set has ETBs and things, and I think he's coming to the same conclusion.
I definitely like staying open. How many picks we got going on in this draft? Six by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
You're gonna have
six.
about 90 or so cards, maybe a little bit less because of the play booster sizes, but
And so you're gonna have a lot of cards to cut. And basically, stay open long.
yeah, so Banishing Light looking like probably the best card here. That card's just
Yeah,
going to be good no matter what. Polywallop again is going to be a little bit worse in this mega draft because you're not going to have a deck full of frogs to discount it.
and you
But
don't get to cast it for 4 to expend sometimes for much value in a
yeah,
mega
I
draft.
mean, I will say expend is a mechanic that doesn't require anything else. So if you have expend cards, that just works with everything. That's one of the things in the set that does work with anything. But looks like Banishing Light he's going to take just as the strongest
Yeah,
card by
yeah. Target
a
non-land
decent margin.
permanents, pretty versatile.
Yeah, can't really go wrong with that.
Bunch of commons, and you got the Brambleguard Captain. It's just commons and Brambleguard Captain already. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we see here another Sticky Tongue. I mean, if you liked Sticky Tongue the first time, probably likes it the second time here.
You can bounce your Banishing Light back after killing a token or something.
Yeah, that's an option. Unfortunately, he didn't get a Hunter's Talent, which is probably the best thing to pair with a Sticky Tongue Sentinel. But
I remember there's a lot of big tokens in OTJ because of the one that
oh, the
is the size of the Thunder. Yeah.
tumbleweed tokens, yeah, elementals. All right, so we're getting to the point of the pack where there's no card you're really extremely happy with. Um, in a six pack draft, there's a good chance that none of these cards end up in a deck. But I mean, some of them might make the cut, but none of these cards are cards you're getting excited about.
No, maybe picking up. Oh, what's Zeb gonna pick up here? I can't imagine it's the instant.
I would think the card I would be most likely to put in a deck would be like Steam Path Charger, just because it's a reasonable 2 drop, and the rest of these
Yep.
cards don't really hold much water.
Yeah, 2 or 4 drop that kind of does damage.
Yeah, like if I'm playing a red deck, there's a good chance that that'll make the cut, just because red will probably want more 2 drops than some of the other colors.
Provisioner seems just fine. It's gonna do its job if you're in white.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. It's like you're probably gonna get better fives than that, but if you don't, you can run it. All right.
Another one if he wants.
Yeah, I think the Alania's Pathmaker is like a reasonable amount better, and I think he's realizing that as well. Yeah, so he's just staying open here. He hasn't opened any cards. Oh, he went for the Provisioner, but he hasn't opened any cards strong enough to like make him fight over a color, which is nice. It means that he's not like getting bogged down into a color that may or may not be open.
Guess we could talk about the players here. Mostly veterans, though Keelan, Zev are new. I might be missing
And
someone.
Thomas B as well.
Thomas B as well.
I believe it's at least Keelan and Thomas. I believe it's their first league period, and Zev it's his second league. So they're all pretty new to us, and the rest of the names here: Sawyer,
Oh,
Dan
yeah.
A,
Yeah.
Daniel G, Miranda, and Zach are mainstays here. You see them in the top eight quite a bit.
Yep. And we got a Druid of the Spade, so
Yeah,
not likely to make it
it's another
if there's not
card that
some.
like probably won't make a deck a lot of the time.
I like Nettleguard coming late. That's a fairly good sign. White
Yeah,
is somewhat open. You don't need to have the Valiant triggers for that card to do what it does.
I think you just like if you're playing white, I don't think you would ever cut the first Nettle card. Like
No,
the
no.
card's just very very useful.
Even
Maybe
damages.
some red cards. So it might be the start of a Boros being open here.
I mean, these are far from bad red cards too, so it's some sort of some signal, I would think.
No, I mean they're not much better than filler, but they're still okay.
They're ones that make decks. They're not. Yeah. Anyway, there's
Yeah,
three red
Roughshod
cards.
Duo, Steam Path Charger. Like these are cards you can just put in your deck most of the time. But we're talking about in a 60 card setting. I think they're okay to find. I mean, Lightshell Duo ended up being like an overperformer in Bloomburrow just because of like how bad blue ended up being at the beginning, and then it did get better. But I don't know if you'll see that as a sign. But
On to Outlaws.
yeah, so this is probably just objectively the most powerful set that we're going to see in this draft, just as far as power level. And
Yep.
if he, I mean, he has a bunch of green cards and a bunch of white cards, so
Green, white,
there's a
looks
very
decent.
nice looking unicorn here.
Yeah, if it ever attacks, you get a 3/3 Angel if it's saddled. Other than
Yeah,
that, just a 2 mana 2/2 first strike lifelink.
yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of work to saddle it, but I mean, it pays you back in spades. So
With
I
two pillated provisioners, I believe it just buffs it. It really wants those counters by itself,
I feel like
even
with
if
the
you
start
saddle.
he has, there's not really another pick. I mean, there is a lot of good green cards in this pack. Like the Outcaster was great. The Burrow Fiend was very very strong. The Hard Bristle Bandit was a nice mana dork. Yeah, I mean, got to
But
go for the power level here.
not that Sentinels synergize at all, but it already got some good playable green cards. That's fine to me.
Yeah, his green cards are okay, but I mean, the Vanishing Light and the Nettle Guard are cards that are good so far. Yeah, so we go from Bloomburrow, which wasn't super high power level, to OTJ, and we're just looking at all these cards and being like, "Wow, these cards are so good."
Yep. Outcaster Green Blade.
I
The
mean,
Holy Cow.
Outcaster Greenblade was the like mythic uncommon of the set because in OTJ, I think taken out of OTJ, I mean it's still a 3 mana 1/2 that puts you up a card. but
It's not going
it,
to be as
it's
crazy as it was, but
it's unlikely to be attacking for 3, 4, or 5 damage like it did in OTJ.
that is, I mean, it's still a choice, but not nearly as high as it would be in just OTJ.
Yeah, I think I'm still taking it. I, I think the fact that it gets you a card, it fixes you as well. Like it gets basic lands as well, right? I
Yeah,
mean, we're used to just it getting a desert, but it does just get a basic land.
yeah, it looks like you took it.
Yeah,
Hey, you can even sticky tongue it back.
there you go. Yeah, I guess Outcaster Greenblade. I guess the comparable card in Bloomburrow would be the Cliff Top Lookout, but I mean the Greenblade's quite a bit better.
Good number of green cards here that can definitely make a deck.
So how do you feel about always paying 6 for Cactarantula? Does it get a lot worse, or is it just still great?
Um, between a lot and a little worse.
Okay,
Medium worse.
all
It's,
right.
I mean, sometimes you paid six anyway, and just because you don't want, you didn't have it on curve or whatever.
Yeah, I am looking at Throw from the Saddle here as being a
Throw from
card
the
I would.
saddle interaction, yeah, and then banded some ramp. I think throw from the saddle is what I'd take too.
He even has a mount already, so once in a blue moon he'll get a counter on a mount.
Yeah, true.
But I wouldn't count on that.
Good that he's not locked into his first couple picks with the red and the black card. Because look, we've ended up
All right.
mostly in Selesnya.
Yeah, so we're seeing a bit of a drop in power for this pack, but still some viable cards here.
Yeah, as you'd imagine, I think a lot of these players are trying to remain open as they can, so they're just the best cards are being snatched up.
Yeah, I mean Outlaw Stitcher it didn't play out amazing in OTJ, but like reading it, the card is still just quite good. Um,
Yeah, a bunch of zombies. I mean, it's better with some plot stuff, but you're not going to get so many.
yeah, I mean if he wants to stay with the green and white cards, there's the Griffin or the Green Aura, but neither of those are really moving the needle here for
I
him.
had a little fun triggering Valiant with a mercenary token in the
Okay, so
league.
he's just gonna grab this land. We're still early. He might. He's not. He's he's not really super committed to anything just yet. So he's gonna take the land here.
Bristleback at Sentry if is usually works well on two to just like hold the fort. There's Ariad's Lullaby which can interact, which is usually a good thing to have in your deck.
Yeah, I think probably the best card here is the Coyote. That card was a beating.
How
Um,
well can you beat down in a 60 card format is a question.
yeah, I mean, I think if you get enough 2 drops, you can, right? Like that's basically how. Like if you have like a 2 power creature on every game, if you have enough of them, have it every game, then you know you're
Oh,
putting together something. But that
I've just picked up a three card,
often
a three
doesn't do
power
anything.
creature. 3 power creature onto Bristleback Sentry was the pick.
I mean, this Beaver seems just so solid.
Yeah. Oh yes,
Is
I remember that. The four
Yeah,
mana 4/4 set.
yeah. This thing was just rock solid. Like we basically get a green 4 mana 4 for a common almost every set now, and its quality sort of goes up and down. Like the one from BLB was just like medium. The Rampager, the one with Offspring, but like this card, I think is a good notch above medium for a common.
Looks like it's going for it.
It just gives you
Pretty
so
firmly in
much.
green. Pretty firmly in green after almost a pack and a half.
Yeah, I think he's been wise to just take green cards when it's been close between other colors, so he's not cementing himself into 2 colors, but he may be taking this Prairie Dog here
Fairy Dog seems solid.
as his first mono white card of this pack. Yeah, I like it's exactly the type of 2 drop that I was describing earlier. Like good when you play it on turn 2, good later in the game. Like those are the cards that make a difference.
Of course, not going to find himself not casting spells on a turn very often, but it doesn't matter.
This could be an okay spot to pick up a lullaby here. It's not the best type of removal, but still does what you need it to do. It's not
There's
premium.
some chance. I was gonna say there's some chance he's not firmly gonna be in white. Like it's still slightly open. If he wants to pivot, it would be now. If he takes Arius Lullaby, I feel like we're gonna see just
Yeah,
so let me
I
pile.
mean, six people passed on the Prairie Dog. I mean, the card's not insanely busted, but I mean, six people passing on it that says something to him at least.
Looks like yeah, goes for the white card. So Selesnya is likely
All right,
ninth
so
fighter at 1 drop.
I
This
mean,
is the wheel.
totally fine one drop. Like this is 1/1 Death Touch classic card. But yeah, he says, let me grab this land here. Maybe I could find something to do with it. It is a desert for his Green Blade, and it's a utility land late in the game. It wasn't one of the premium deserts, yeah, and he just goes for the ankle biter and nice holy cow here. Card's like very solid.
Oh yeah, it wheels. He's in the right colors, I would say.
I mean, look, we got a 2/2 flying that gains life. I got only good things to say about this Ox Angel.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, here's a land. I mean, if he wants to try and splash red, he has
It
that
is.
land. Otherwise, yeah, that Wingsmith was not good in basically anything. So
I mean, there's no crime committing stuff, but it braided bluff still can let you splash. Perhaps you do
yeah,
have
if
the
he wants to splash, so far I don't see anything to splash. But we still got four
yeah.
packs left. You may find a gold card or some easy to splash rare.
Yeah. And it's green blade synergy, I suppose, grows it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's searchable with the green blade. So
It also just
it's
like grows
so
it.
it's like two sources basically in one card if he needs to splash.
Lightshell Duo still on the main board. That I think tells us
All
willing
right,
to stay
so
open,
on
even
to
though
LCI here. Let's see what we got. The Enigma Jewel. Is that the one that cares about activated abilities?
yeah,
Okay,
and it's
never mind.
not a limited card.
Never
Look
mind
pretty.
that.
I've seen
Nothing
neat stuff.
really in green or white here.
Grasping Shadows wants you to tackle things alone. Gives it death, lifelink and death touch, and then on the back, I believe draws you cards a bunch of times.
Yeah, it draws you like three cards, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if any of these green or white cards you can really take first.
yeah. The turns into a land that you can draw cards.
Maybe take an Abrade just in case you end up tilting towards red. Like, not sure what the best play is here. This is a tough pack for him.
It's not a best pack to open. I mean,
It's a
Quicksand
tough
Wild
pack for
Boar.
anybody. Like the next person who gets this pack is not going to be happy either. It's not like somebody else is going to be fist pumping about getting some strong card.
I know Quicksand kind of bad, but
Okay, this looks like a bit of a better pack here.
oh, money, Cavern of Souls.
Oh yeah, take the money and run.
No counters, countering my.
If this was an in-person draft, you would not get past the Cavern of Souls, but in the digital world, has no value.
So for green or white, I mean, River Herald's Guide's fine. Compass Gnome gives you some consistency, I guess, with your
Yeah,
mana.
it's like they're basically all like C's or worse. Like if you're grading on the letter scale, like all the cards that are here in green and white. Now, if you wanted to splash a card, the Caparocti, I think it's called, the Sunborn. Like that card was pretty great, but I don't know if it merits a splash necessarily.
Tinker's Tote was good for synergies in that set. I mean,
Yeah, like I look at Carrot Cake and then I look at Tinker's Tone and I'm like, wow,
they
those
both
cards
game
are
life.
those cards are not made equally.
Hey, they actually do the stuff for 4 mana and gain 3 life. Both of
Yeah,
them.
but no scries here, right? Does this one?
No,
I don't believe so. All right, well, you could play a Colossal Dreadmont. Oh, sorry, an Earthshaker
Dark Rose
Dreadmont.
Relic. If you have the fodder, Dark Rose Reliquary is very efficient. If you have the
I
right fodder.
don't think he has anything really to sack to it, right?
That's actually a good example of Tinker's Toad synergy.
Yeah, Tinker's Toad. Yeah, that's about it.
Was that the pick last pick? I didn't actually see.
I'm trying to see if it was or not. I'll
In,
wait till
oh
it's
no, you got
full.
Capricotti. That was
Oh
not
no, no,
pack,
he
right?
took the Sunborn. He did take the Sunborn
Yeah,
just on
Capricotti
the off
and
chance it
Sunborn
makes it back. Like that card was very, very good. I mean, there is another Abrade here.
Caprarocti Sunborn.
So this is about like we're almost halfway through the draft. We're a few picks away from being halfway through the draft. Like this is well, the rest of the pack will be after the end of the pack will be halfway through the draft.
Yeah,
So this is
you're
the point
moving.
where you do have to start basically deciding what you're going to do. And he went for the reliquary without too much to sack to it yet.
Deconstruction hammer is gonna have its uses. You're probably gonna find a good thing to kill when needed.
I
What
mean,
else is there?
Cloud
Cloud Guard's
Guard
a good
was an
card.
overperformer in LCI. Taken out of LCI in a setting with other cards, I mean, it's still good. I don't know if it's going to be as much of a standout, but
So
it can't be bad.
say for one of those two seems to be the pick. Other than that, we got any signals of another color? Join the dead is it's not too many picks in, but that's still in the pack.
Yeah,
Nice.
that was a good card. I mean, like we were talking a bit before we started the drafts, before we started the recording, that so some of the like one of the keys was like finding the synergies between the sets, and I mean like and if you have cards from BLB that want threshold, like if you have threshold, you probably have descend four, right? Like there's a
Yeah.
good chance. Like if you have seven cards in your graveyard, probably four of them are going to be permanents. So it's like those cards can work together. Obviously, he's not in those colors right now, but that's something that seems very obvious to me as something that works together.
You got a 2-drop that puts a
Okay,
counter
so
somewhere.
he sees the tithing blade here, and
Hmm.
thinking about grabbing that rather than this iron paw aspirant, which is like just a rock solid 2-drop.
There's also hammer, but I think he doesn't want to stick in white necessarily. That's what it
Okay,
looks like.
so interesting pick here. Let's see where he goes from here, because that one was a little unexpected.
Trying to read the signals. I mean, there were pickable cards, at least two
Yeah, but I
in the.
think the iron paw aspirant is like basically as good as tithing blade, I would say.
It's another thing is tithing blades is not something you necessarily want to splash. It's strong on turn
Oh,
two or maybe three, and
I
not
think
so long
it's
after
yeah,
that.
it's way better early. So looking here again, nothing premium.
Captivating Cave is somewhat captivating, I guess. Can do something later. Cosmic Blast is interaction.
Okay, so it looks like he's going towards the land here. So rather than like cement himself in green white, he's okay. But he did end up taking the Sunscribe, which I think is a bit worse than the aspirant. But I guess let's see what happens here.
There's a Guide Wing. There's a Hidden Courtyard, free include
Yeah,
if you're in white.
the Scampering Surveyor was a good card as well.
Oh yeah, it gets basic
The
lands.
basic land or cave. Yeah,
I like taking my lands when I can, since 2/3 of my draft is going in the sideboard. So
yeah. Lands are good,
the 1-drop,
but
obviously, in the meta of this draft, this Miner's Guide Wing was very good.
yeah, like these like invasive one drops were just everywhere in LCI, like to the point where they were
All right.
kind of format defining. I think taken out of LCI, Miner's Guidewing is still a completely fine card, but I don't think it's going to be a defining card of the deck. But still perfectly fine.
That's the third deconstruction hammer that was open in this pod.
I mean, having one's got to be pretty okay.
Works a little like Nettle Guard, but does other stuff. Nettle Guard is a
Could
creature.
go. I was about to say could go for the pump spell. Like that's a pretty good pump spell.
I mean, just
Okay, so goes for the pump spell here. Now, yeah, here comes the this is that awful pack that there was nothing for him.
that was his open.
Yeah, so the scythe, I'm trying to remember what it does now. I'm reading it. Okay, so it's a trick
I don't.
that sticks around and has equip 4. Yeah, that card. will almost never make a deck.
Yep.
I mean, Triumphant Chomp, you would you would just play if you're red, but you wouldn't splash it. It's 2 damage to a creature. All right, you could grab another 2-drop here with the Sunscribe.
Still a Cavern of Souls. No one wanted the money.
Yeah, Attentive Sunscribe was a bit better in LCI, I think, than it would be in this format, just because LCI had like those things that let you tap for value, like the Sunshot Militia and like the Gem Guard, the 4-drop. Like there was a few cards that let you tap things. So when it couldn't get in, it still was able to do something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
Armored Kincaller, again, another like really good performer in LCI, but if you don't have dinosaurs, then you're not getting the life, and it's just a 3/3 vanilla.
Yeah, kind of the stuff you did imagines at the end of the pack.
All right, well, here's the hammer that you were advocating for earlier.
Oh, I'm looking
Oh,
at Seraphic Speed and I want to equip that baby up.
is he not? I think having one. The Market Gnome is. I don't know if that's what he's in for this deck.
Oh, you took Market Gnome over it?
Yeah, but he got another one here. I guess the rest of the table had the same opinion about him as Deconstruction Hammer, which is if I want it, it'll wheel. All right, there's the Gem Guard. That was one of the cards I mentioned. As I mean, with 3 Attentive Sunscribes, the Gem Guard gets better. And here he's open his first I mean, I guess Seraphic Steed's a bomb, but like this whale is extremely strong. But
Double blue.
unfortunately, yeah,
Double
unfortunately,
blue.
can't really go into that. So we're looking at Woe here. Like Tanglespan Lookout was like a high pick in Woe, but the other sets don't really offer auras. I think he's checking to see if he has any. He might be checking to see if he has auras, and the answer is
Yeah,
he
not
doesn't.
really. Root Rider Fawn, it fixes you, but only if you pay an extra mana.
I mean, Utopia Sprawl is pretty strong. Like 1 mana ramp, we don't see that very much, and there's a reason
Sorry,
why most are
Fawn
cheap.
is filters exactly. So anyway,
Yeah,
if you don't want to filter, you got just it taps for green, which is fine. I mean,
yeah, it filters. But
uh,
I think Utopia Sprawl just as a 1 mana ramp. Like we don't, like I said, we don't get that often in limited, and there's a reason why. It's because 1 mana ramp is really really strong. Being able to play a 3-drop on turn 2, that's a big advantage.
it is.
All right, so again, nothing overly exciting for what he's trying to do, but certainly some playables.
Discerning Financier, Archon's Glory with fewer bargain targets than normal. Return Triumphant can often be good, depending.
Yeah, Return Triumphant seems generically strong. The Cursed Courtier, the human noble that's not a frog, so not
Mhm.
not a frog for our purposes, but yeah, that card only really worked if you had a bunch of bargain stuff. So
On a Seraphic Steed, Return Triumphant could be nice.
yeah, I mean, Return Triumphant probably has the highest upside, but again, sometimes won't do anything.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
mean,
I
what's
mean,
hovering towards the tower?
looks like he's taking Torch the Tower here, so he's. I mean, it's not a card I would be looking necessarily to splash.
Well, that is a quite a bomb. Elvish Archivist.
Yeah. Elvish Archivist was definitely a first pick in Woe, but he does have like a bunch of random artifacts, like the Sun Scribes and all, and those are artifacts. He's sorting by type here,
And the equipment we picked up too.
so he's got a bunch of creatures that are artifacts.
Sunscribe.
The
I think.
artifact gives it counters, right? And enchantments give you cards. Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's it.
Okay, he's gonna go for the high upside pick here.
Even Utopia Sprawl's an enchantment.
Yeah, Utopia. Yeah, he only has 2 enchantments so far, but he has quite a few creatures that are artifacts, like Adaptive Gem Guard, the 3 Sun Scribes, the Market Gnome if he plays it, uh,
Yeah,
the um, the Cloud Guard makes a token if he plays
it's not a wild ball drain.
the Envoy of Okanek. makes an artifact every turn if you pay the mana.
Yep. Good matches.
Again, just a bunch of okay cards. Like he hasn't seen a lot of really high quality cards this draft. Um, so
I could see Spider Food being good at you if not just in the sideboard.
okay, now he's taking this cursed Cordier, which comes in as a 1/1, and you have
Yeah.
to you absolutely must bargain away the cursed roll or put another roll on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to happen in this draft very often, I imagine.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think I prefer Spider Food just as a sideboard card, just that
yeah,
hits most a lot of the things that you would
yeah,
want to deal with. Like one thing, he doesn't have too much removal yet. He has a few pieces, but
yeah. I don't see Cordier
probably
making the
yeah, you
final list.
probably want a bit more interaction. I mean, not that he hasn't seen it. He's seen some red burn spells, but hasn't seen too much removal in green and white yet, unfortunately.
The Moment of Valor could definitely be handy.
Yeah, Moment of
Besides that,
Valor.
not much. There's another
Leaping.
Torch the Tower.
Yeah, there's Leaping Ambush, but there's also Torch the Tower. Yeah.
If he takes Torch the Tower, there's some chance he's going to try and move into red a little bit in the last two packs.
Yeah, it's just like I don't like splashing these like small burn spells.
Oh
Like
no, that's what I'm saying. He might fully try and move in if
yeah, if I'm splashing for removal, I want it to be basically as close to catch-all removal as possible, like a Vanishing Light.
if you take a look at his white cards, it's at least 6, 7 okay creatures, like nothing to throw.
Yeah, he just has so many like white cards that it's gonna be hard here to
Two and a half
pivot.
packs
But
left.
yeah,
Two and a half
no,
packs
no,
left.
it's possible. When we got Throne of Eldraine coming up next, right?
That's the oldest one by a good deal, and
Yeah.
doesn't have the ingrained synergies that the uh, standard sets were designed to be synergistic with. So
Okay. I mean, you might just like, I mean, 5 mana 4/4 flying. I mean, some number of years ago, 5 mana 4/4 flying was extremely desirable and strong. Nowadays, it's we see them a bit more often. They're not as unique, I would say. I mean,
Gravity.
he's seeing like decent red cards here. Like the Grabby Giant was always like an overperformer. I think he's
Yeah,
looking through his pile here. Like based on what I'm seeing, like it might be green that would get cut before the white. Like the green seems a lot weaker. Okay, he's just gonna take the Soul Guide Lantern. It looks like as a sideboard card, perhaps.
green bean cut. Okay, okay. Probably just staying open.
Yeah, like I
Hence,
said,
this
like
is
I don't think
good.
there was like a pick I would say that like sent this draft in the wrong direction whatsoever. It's just like the packs that he's seen haven't been amazing.
The red and the sideboard. If he is planning on choosing red as one of the main colors that can go in, a few of those cards are fine.
Yeah, Protective Parents again, another filler card. Rarely made the cut in WoW.
Nope.
I mean, Return from the Wilds, kind of kind of decent.
Yeah, you gotta choose two. Either ramp, get a 1/1, or a food.
Yeah. Okay. Well, take that. I mean, that card usually made the cut.
Could definitely see that making the deck. Oh yeah, this back again.
I mean, that's basically like it's basically like a clifftop lookout, right? Like from BLB. Like on the
Um,
that one was like the 1/2 reach that gets you a land into play. The frog.
yeah, which
I
card are you
mean,
talking about?
the Return for the Wilds.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
It's a
the
1/1
current
that
pack.
gets a land basically, or it could be slightly better, but
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the current pack we were looking at.
right. Unassuming Sage is well, it's unassuming.
Yeah, Curse Courtier synergy.
There you go. All right, a very expensive tapper here.
Or more Curse Courtier synergy.
I mean, I've been playing a bunch of Ammo Kit this week, and I've seen a lot of Fan Bearer. That was like a very good card there. It was a one drop that you could tap
Yeah,
something for 2 mana. This one taps
yeah.
for 3. I think 3 is the point where it's like not acceptable on like a card you just can't really run.
Well, it was an archetype, not a good one, but it was an archetype.
Yeah,
So I guess if you could do it over and over, they wanted to price it not that cheap.
yeah. I think tap like the tappers that cost 2 or 1 are quite good, and oh, yeah, Murderous Rider. Yikes.
That's a card that holds up.
I mean, we were saying that he was a bit low removal, and I do see the Glass Casket here. So, I mean, it's going to be a heartbreaker to pass something as good as a Murderous Rider. But five five packs in, it doesn't seem realistic to try and play that.
Fast Cascade has synergy. It's an artifact
Yeah.
synergy with the Elvish Archivist.
So yeah, I mean, Glass
So would
Casket
an
is just a rock
enchantment.
solid card, just good. I can't really go wrong with it. I'm not sure how his creature count is, but he does have like mostly creatures, so you can.
Revenge of Ravens is a good card too. Someone's gonna be happy with that.
Yeah, Revenge of Ravens, Bacon to a Pie. Like this is a black cards pack. Like
Although I'm not sure if
how many of the non-black cards are going to be in people's decks here?
I'm wondering if Revenge of Ravens would hold up against a big stats jump in the last 5 years of Magic.
Yeah, it would probably be a bit more matchup dependent. I think in original Drain it was just straight up good, and today it would be a bit more matchup dependent. Yeah, and then this pack, not too much here that he's going to be happy about.
Post
But
core is one of the worst, one of the most frequent last picked in a pack, I
I
think.
mean, we got Barrow, which is one of the goat Kofflerisms here.
Yeah, I know. Well, as one
But
of not Witch of the Moor is good though.
yeah, I think the last pack like looked pretty nice just overall, and then this pack you were seeing okay, this is a set from 5 years ago.
Gingerbread Devin, Spore Cap Spider, Weapons Rack.
Yeah, like
Who loves this?
I do think that we're not going to see that many Throne of Eldraine cards like across people's decks, just because yeah, there are some good cards, but just the average power level of every individual card is just going to be quite a bit lower. Yeah, Gingerbread Cabin is okay. Well, Fairy Guidemother is a nice one here to pick up, I would say.
Also, Little Ginger Brute, which was literally in Wilds of Eldraine too. So I guess synergy.
Yeah, I ended up with two Ginger Brutes in the league, in the Bloomburrow League, because I had one from the Tiny Heroes and one from Whoa.
Oh yeah, it works.
I
Is it
do
Return to
think
Nature? Fairy Godmother.
Fairy Guidemother is just a really, really nice card. If somebody hears Orzhov, they're going to get two of these Resolute Riders and be absolutely ecstatic.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess we'll find out when we do our pool reviews.
I know very soon.
Yeah, so I mean, like, he's definitely going to play green white. We'll see if he ends up trying to splash anything. I don't
Knights.
aside from the Sunborn, the Boros card, and like maybe the Abrade. I don't see anything else I'd be looking to splash, but we'll see. We'll see in the first round how he fares here.
Rare here is a fine 2 mana 2/2, but the payoff for casting a night spell, good luck, is you get a 1/1.
Yeah, I don't
Huh?
think he has too many knights here.
Mhm.
I mean, he could take the Rosethorn Acolyte just as a fixer, but I
Fixers,
mean,
Ramper,
yeah,
probably.
he doesn't really have too much top end, so the ramp is less valuable. But I mean, the
Look at
card's fine.
and look at Prize Griffin compared to Pileated Provisioner. That's straight up power creep.
Somebody's getting a pick 5 or later Bacon to a Pie, and now Order of Midnight. Yikes.
Yeah, Black has been passed. I mean, if who's he passing to in this one? Zach. If Zach's in Black, he got the rider too. Midnight.
Uh,
They're called Midnight
yeah, Murderous Rider. Yeah.
Murderous Rider.
Yeah, and then if somebody's Orzhov, they got two Resolute Riders, and then just pass the Bacon to a Pie and an order of
Or how about
midnight
mono
here.
black? Even works if mono Zax and mono black.
I'm
There you
almost
go.
tempted to just take the order of midnight away since there's nothing in this pack that you can put in a deck.
Yeah. 2 mana, 2/2 flyer that can't block even if you use half
Yeah,
the card.
I mean it's a very very good Gravedigger. All right, yeah. I mean there was nothing else in that pack. Okay, I mean Sir Alan is pretty nice. I mean the Scalding Cauldron is also playable, but not amazing.
Four
And
for first
all
strike.
the Barrow Witches somebody could ever want.
Mhm. Yeah, so, 4/4 first strike is if there's no answer to it, it might be real tough to get by it. That's without the attack
I
trigger.
mean this is this has got to be better than like the Provisioners. I think like 4/4
Let's see.
first strike and 3/4 flying are very similar. I would say as far as their ability to attack.
Hey, you could even use them to saddle up your steed.
All right. I mean, you can take a sideboard card here, Fell the Pheasant. Nothing else is looking playable.
5 damage to target flying creature.
All right, Thrill of Possibility. I think this was the first set that had this affect that instant.
Yeah, you would trigger the draw to a turn. Is it archetype with that on opponent's turn? It's hard
Yeah,
to do it on
and I
opponent's
think
turn.
it was around this time that we just started getting that every set, like the discard a card draw to. All right, he did take the sideboard card here. Well, that's a third Resolute Rider for a prospective Orzhov player if there is one.
Yeah, be interesting to see if those are being played.
I mean, with the lack of removal, I think Scalding Cauldron is probably the pick and will merit consideration to be in the deck. Yeah, looking at his deck, like some of the cards aren't doing like exactly what you want them to do all the time.
Sticky tongue. Yeah,
Like Druid of the Spade, I'm looking at. I'm like,
yeah, you have to cut a lot of things. So
all right,
Silver
and
Flame Squire
another,
sometimes.
yeah, this is just
Another bake, yeah. Silver Flame Squire sometimes works
if
pretty well on
somebody
defense.
was cutting black, they got paid off by black being so abundant in this pack. Silver Flame Squire, totally fine card.
The only downside is that two. You do the thing, but then you just got a 2/1, which isn't not
I
that
can
big of a
take
deal.
another sideboard card here. I like having these sideboard cards.
Weapon Rack was something that wasn't very good, but I liked playing it.
Okay, it's going for the Silver Flame Ritual here. Maybe he figures I need something to to push damage, and nope, it just goes in the sideboard. It's a kitty cat.
Good, good top end there.
It's one of the biggest kitty cats in the game.
One of
Yeah, there's probably one. There's probably a couple that are bigger, but it's one of
Jetmir. Jetmir. I remember how big.
Yigra. You mean
No,
Yigra's
the
is a
Jetmir was
large
like a
cat.
demon cat.
Yeah, Jetmir can be big too, but he's a demon, so we don't like that.
No.
Oh, there it is. Barrow Witches. All right. So back to Bloomburrow here. He doesn't really have any rabbit matter cards for his green white build. He has Druid of the Spade, which wants tokens, but I think he at least set himself up to not be requiring a certain creature type from the picks he made in Bloomburrow. But we are going to get back to Bloomburrow to close out the draft here. I think this is the first time we've done like a bookend like this, like same
Yeah,
set
because
at the
there are only
beginning and
five.
at the end.
Because you can only open from 5 different sets, basically.
Yeah, looking at this
Basically.
pack, Curious Forager looks like just pretty nice.
Forager, yeah. I like using the. I like a card or two always that uses the graveyard as a resource. That at least does it. Using the search function, which I've never done
Well, I
on
think he
this.
was looking to see if he had anything that made food, and he discovered that it didn't look like much. I think Return from the Wild makes a food.
Did he pick
Uh,
up the green tapped forest from Eldraine unless you have 3 forests in play?
the gingerbread cabin, I
Yeah.
believe he did, and put it into his sideboard. I think he's just gonna. Yeah, Curious Forger, I think, is just generically strong. Like, yes, if you can make it work with a food token, it's great. But if you just play Magic normally, you also just
Yeah, exactly.
get to
And
play
you use
this.
your graveyard for a purpose instead of
Like,
not.
just play a normal game of Magic, and you cast that on turn 6, and you get back like a 3 drop and play it. Like, that's just like you don't have to work that hard. Yeah, Harvest Right Host. Again, if you're in Bloomburrow playing green white, this is like one of the best cards you could take. But as it stands, it's
Yeah,
not doing too much for him.
I mean the Oak Hollow Village, same idea, less good. Pot Patch Formation could be good anywhere. Cash Grab, Suppose could be good anywhere, but you're not going to get the food as much.
He might need a Sonar Strike here, but I don't know if he values that type of removal.
Towards Sunshower Druid's never going to be terrible, but the synergies aren't going to be really there. I mean, if you put it on your Miner's Guidewing, I've said Seraphic Steed a million times. Prairie Dog even.
Yeah, I mean it has its uses. I think I would tend towards like either the Sonar Strike or the Paw Patch formation. And yes, I know Sonar Strike will never gain any life, but you know, still interaction.
You took the formation?
Yes.
Can't see, yeah.
Wow, Storm Chaser's talent, or as I call it, Otter Typhoon.
Life Creed Duo.
Yeah, I think that's the only viable pick here, unless he wants to take something out of the draft.
Peerless. I
I
don't
think
know
he's
if it's
scanning his creature types to figure out if the white land is going to be good enough, but I don't think it is.
there's a human noble that got polymorphed into a frog, but it's not actually a frog
No,
with the
it's a human noble, even though the art clearly depicts it to be a
curse,
frog like at the very least.
yeah, with the curse token. I mean, Life Creed Duo, Peerless. Yeah, if you have some bombs, but it's not really looking like that.
I mean, he has Curious Forager already to sort of as a piece of a value piece. Right, looks like
Oh,
he just grabbed the Nocturnal Hunger.
okay.
Not sure what he'll do with it, but he
I
has
think
one.
it, I think it was a hate draft thought. Although the Life Creed Duo could have done some work. Okay.
Yeah, again, like none of these cards look like they're very excellent. Like Sticky Tongue Sentinel, he doesn't have too many ETBs here. I'm not seeing all that many. There's a couple, but
Looking like a third Sentinel. Yeah.
I mean, I like picking up Fairy Guidemother. That's a good piece of magic. I would be happy to see.
Yeah. Pick up 2 cards.
All right, yeah, Sticky Tongue Sentinel, like just very solid card. Hard to go wrong.
Got reach. Nice and
Wow,
defensive.
look at these blue cards. I mean,
Share pot. Share pot can
you
kill
expect to
anything.
see Splash Lasher pick 5 in a Bloomburrow draft just because blue gets underdrafted, but would not expect to see it pick 5 in our mega draft. I mean, SharePot. I mean, if you need a removal, it does what it says it does. It's just obviously not efficient, and he doesn't have basically anything that cares about food.
Yeah. Well, how many cards in the main
It's
board
good
have
with the
share pot?
archivist, though it only triggers it once.
If he's keeping all these cards in, even the red ones. I mean, there are 2 cards that I've read on it if you play the Jagged Barons, but we're looking at 43
Oh,
cards in the
Warren.
main board.
I like Warren Elder here. This card's just very solid.
Yeah,
Right.
it looks like you picked.
Again, exactly what I described earlier. Play it on turn 2. It's functional. Draw it late. It might it might win you the game, and that's what you want your 2 drops to be.
So yeah, Zev has to cut approximately what, like 7 cards now from what's down there.
Something
Or
like that.
7. Tithing Blade's still in the main, so is Order of Midnight.
I mean,
Not
once we like he he's not super set up to splash. Like he hasn't not for not for lack of trying, but he hasn't seen too much fixing. He has a few fixers. Um, The Rosethorn Acolyte, Outcaster Greenblade, Return from the Wilds, I'll fix, and Utopia Sprawl as well. But the splash cards aren't looking incredibly strong. It's a nice trick. That's one you're happy to play.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can grab Life Creed Duo or a Herbalist.
Heirloom.
Doesn't have too many tokens. So
Life
yeah,
Group Duo can't be so bad. It should give you a lot of life.
Heirloom
And
Epic is almost tempting, just as like because it's such a unique effect.
yeah, if you need card draw, it's gonna give you an infinite card draw.
Like repeat it, infinite. You sure?
Infinite. Pass the game. Pass the mill.
You sure about that?
Pass the mill points.
Yeah. Well, it is a unique effect, I would say, um, and for that, it probably merits consideration. But the Life Creed Duo, he just says, "Well, it's a creature. I'm going to play it. It's going to make my deck. It's going to always do what it says it does." And the Heirloom Epic sometimes will just sit there and do nothing while you lose. All
Oh,
right,
Life
another
Group.
Life Creed Duo. I mean, look, he's got a bunch of 2 drops, and that's a good base for a deck, I would say.
A good
Like
amount of life game.
if you have enough, decent 2 drops, you have a shot in basically any game in this format, this mega draft environment. So while power level is, not as high as perhaps maybe some other people, I guess we'll see when we go through the pools.
The Sauron
Uh,
problem.
we'll yeah, well, who knows? But we're gonna pause here for now. For. We'll be back a bit later for round one with Zev's deck. But in the meantime, we will be looking at the other pools very shortly.